All right, beginners, it is Thursday and it is art, so let's go ahead and get started. What you guys should have gotten in your work packets this week is a plastic bag with an oil pastel. Now, what is an oil pastel again? It is like chalk, but with oils. So it's very thick and almost creamy, and look, it will mark you. Do we want to mark each other? No. Do we want to get it places where your mom and dad won't be happy? No. So make sure you take care of this. If it falls on the floor, remember what happens if it falls on the floor? It'll get crushed and it'll probably stain the carpet. So let's make sure it won't stain the carpet, but it'll be hard to get out because it turns into little pieces. So you want to be very careful with this. Take good care of it, all right? Something else you got was a paintbrush like this and a watercolor palette, which we will be doing a project with, and a white piece of paper later today. All right, but before we do that, let's go ahead and talk just a little bit about mixing colors, because we talked about that, last week? We talked about how, we talked about the colors of the rainbow, and we talked about primary colors and secondary colors. So let's go ahead and review that really fast. So get a cup of water. Don't fill up all the way, you just need a little bit. Get your paintbrush ready and get your watercolor palette ready, all right? So the first one, it says it for you, blue. So let's get our paintbrush, dip it in the water, and let's get our blue out. Let's make sure we get quite a bit on the palette. And we're gonna go ahead and carefully paint it blue. And I have to be extra careful because mine's on the wall. Yours should be on a table, hopefully. So I'm gonna paint it blue. If you get it out of the lines, that's okay. All right, so there is my blue. My next one says what? Red. So go ahead and do this with me. Grab your red. Mix, 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 mix. Now, unfortunately, this isn't a very good watercolor palette, so my red will probably come out kind of pink. All of my colors will be pretty dull, except for my purple for some weird reason. So let's do our red. All right, we have the red. It's okay if you don't stay in the lines, that's fine. This is just so we can have a visual. All right, so now, red and blue make what? Do you guys remember when we were talking last week? Purple, good job. So are we gonna put the purple on there? No, we're gonna mix the colors. Now it might be hard because it's some watercolor paper, we'll try. First, we're gonna get some red on our brush, and then because blue is a lot stronger than red, see, I'm gonna get my red on my brush just like this, so it's nice and it has some nice red on there, and I'm just gonna very gently dip it in the blue. Let me take some off, like that, all right? So let's go ahead and see if we can make purple. Ooh, do you see the purple happening? I do. It's still a little bit too red, so let me add just a teeny tiny bit more blue. Do you see that? So red and blue make purple. Good job. Our next one says what? Blue again, so let's get our blue. It's gonna drip. Okay. And my next color after blue is yellow. So now my yellow, I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna squish it really good. Hopefully you get quite a bit of yellow on there. Perfect, got some yellow. Now, what does yellow and blue make? Do you guys know? We're gonna find out right now if you don't. We talked about last week. If you said green, you're correct. Now look at, which color do you think is stronger? The blue or the yellow? That's right, the blue is stronger. So go like that, strong, show your muscles. The blue is stronger, so that means should I put blue first or yellow first? Because yellow's weaker. I should put yellow first because blue is so strong. If I put too much blue, you won't be able to see the yellow. So I'm gonna get the yellow first, put quite a bit of yellow on my brush. Let's see, does that look yellow enough to you? All right, let's go and put the yellow first. And then I'm gonna go ahead and gently dip it in just a teeny bit of blue. Very teeny, teeny. And I can add more if I need to. And what color is that making? Green. There we go, I can add some more blue now. And now I have green. Now my last one is what? Yellow again. So I'm gonna dip my paintbrush in the yellow. Just like that. And it says what for the next one? Red. And what does red and yellow make? Let's see. So it's red, yellow, make orange. Good job. So now I'm gonna go back. Now, which one do you think is stronger here? Do you think my yellow is stronger or my red is stronger? My red is stronger. My yellow is still weak. It's still a very light color. When you think of yellow, yellow is the sun. We think of light because the sun gives off light. So that's how we know yellow is a light color. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with our yellow because it's light. Put it right here. And now we're gonna go very gently, very, very gently with our red, just a little bit, dab, dab, dab. And we're gonna put it right on top because we wanna make orange. Oops, oops. Let me add a little more red. Just like that. And now I have orange. It's still kind of white. Let me add a little more. You add a little more red or yellow if you need to. All right, so now you have blue and red make what? Purple. Blue and yellow make green. And yellow and red make orange. All right, so this is just a little visual of last week because in our next project, we may or may not be mixing colors. All right, so now what's something else we learned about last week? Oh, actually, I'm gonna use this. All right, what's something we learned? We learned about what? Warm colors and cold colors. So looking at our palette right here, like this, can you guys tell me the warm colors? What would it be? Would it be purple? Would it be green? No, it would be red. It would be yellow, and it would be, red, orange, and then it would be yellow. So my dark colors would be green, would be blue, and would be purple. And then black and brown would of course be would be cold colors. All right, so I really like this palette because why? Does it look like something that we learned about? Yes, our rainbow. So remember, red and yellow make orange. Yellow and blue make green. And then if we didn't have these two, then it'd be blue and red make purple. All right, so we're gonna have our project right now, and we're gonna have our project off what we learned last week as well, which is our warm and cold colors. Remember, I'm gonna do 2 different types of projects. Actually, Miss Leilani, can you hand me the 2 projects right over there? So I'm gonna do 2 different projects. I'm gonna do a sunset in the ocean, and I'm gonna do a sunrise of mountains. Thank you. So I am going to, here's my first one. Here's my sunrise project. I used what? I used my cold colors for my mountains, and I used my warm colors for my sun to show that the sun is rising. So this is one of the projects you can do. My other project right here is the ocean one. I used, again, my cool colors for the waves of the ocean because waves are typically blue, sometimes a little greenish. They're not purple, but we're gonna use our cool colors. And my warm colors for the sunrise. All right, so for this project, you will be using all of your cold and all of your warm colors, but you're gonna use them in a certain order, and you'll just go ahead and follow along from the video. Now, this was a whole sheet of paper, all right, and I cut it in half. So you get to choose if you wanna do this one, which I'll start with in the video, or if you wanna fast forward and do this one on your whole sheet of paper. If you are really creative and you like art, have your mom and dad go ahead and cut that paper in half, and you can do both. Or if you have more watercolor paper at home, go ahead and you can do both, all right? I hope you enjoy. All right, beginners, let's go ahead and get started on our art project. I'm super excited to do this with you guys. Now, I'm gonna show you 2 different options. I'm gonna show you 2 different landscapes that you guys get to choose from. The first one I'm gonna do is an ocean landscape. And so you're gonna have the waves, and then you're gonna have the sun in the background. And the waves and the sun are gonna be divided with warm and cool colors. Now your second option for your landscape is going to be hills, and then again the sun rise, divided with warm and cool colors. So you guys get to choose which one you guys prefer to do. So I'm gonna do the ocean one first, and if you'd like to, you can go ahead and do that one. If you just want to, if you would like to do them both, you can get another piece of paper, or I cut my paper in half to show you guys both of them, and you guys get to choose which one you'd like to do if you wanna do it on a full paper. All right, so what you should have in your packet is a paintbrush, and it should have something like this that says clip, just so you guys don't lose them. We have a watercolor palette. You should have a cup of water. I have my little chip cup. And then you should have a little bag with an oil pastel. Now look at it, you have to be very careful because an oil pastel will mark you if you're not careful. And remember, if we're drawing with our oil pastel, if I draw something down here and then I move up to draw something over here, what happened? I smeared my oil pastel. Do I want it to smear? No, it's not very nice when it smears, unless that's the look I'm going for, which it's not. So we have to make sure that when we work with our oil pastel, our hand is off the paper. So you notice my hand is not gonna be on the paper, just the oil pastel will be. Because if I start dragging my hand everywhere I go, I'm gonna smear it everywhere, and I do not want that. All right, so I want you guys to also look at your paper. Do you guys know what kind of paper we're using? We're using watercolor paper because we're working with watercolors, so it's a lot thicker. All right, so if you try doing this art project on a regular piece of paper, it probably won't come out as well, just because it won't hold all the water. It'll kind of just seep through. All right, so this is what we're gonna do first for our ocean art project. Now we're gonna get our hand and we're gonna put our hand at the end of the paper and we're gonna stop a little, so this is the middle. We're gonna stop a little bit before the middle. So we're gonna go a little bit before, so right here probably. All right, so this is half and we want less than half. So if this is half right here, we're gonna do less, so about right there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a squiggly line. Now, do I want a squiggly line like this, super duper squiggly? No, I want ocean waves, but I want calm ocean waves. So we're gonna do big squiggles like this. See the difference? There's not too much bumps in between, right? There's longer breaks between the bumps. Now, if you're group A and your child is a little scared to do this, I know sometimes kids are, what you can do is have them follow along with their oil pastel and you tell them to follow your finger, and then you can make the waves with your finger as they follow along. So that way they have the waves that they want without getting stressed out. And if you're group B, I know you guys are probably pros at this by now, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, so let's go ahead and make our waves. Remember, not in the middle, but a little less than the middle of the paper. And let's go ahead and make our waves. So I'm doing one. Good job. Now I'm gonna probably do two more. 1, 2. Now I have my waves. Now they're pretty light. I want them to be quite darker. So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna trace them, but I'm gonna push down really super duper hard with my oil pastel, as hard as I possibly can. And I'm gonna go super slow so I stay right on top of the line. I don't wanna go past the line. Now I still have quite a bit of white marks, so I'm gonna go back again until I get it as dark as possible, and I will tell you guys why in just a minute. So go ahead and make your lines really dark. If you need to pause the video, go for it. Pause the video, just take your time. Oops, I didn't stay on the line, that's okay. I'm gonna go back over it again. Perfect. All right, so now I have my waves. So now remember, I do not wanna drag my hand, because if I do, I'll mess it up. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna make half a circle. Because remember, we're learning about shapes in what? Geography? So now, instead of making a whole circle, I'm gonna make a half circle. But I don't wanna take up my whole paper. I wanna just make it a little part right here, because this is going to be my sun. So I'm gonna start right here, and I'm gonna make my half circle like that. And I'm gonna make sure I go over it again, really, really, really dark. I might have to turn my oil pastel so it can be pointy on the other side as I push down. And now that I have my sun and my ocean waves, I'm gonna go ahead and make my sun rays. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the little sun rays. You can do them wiggly. I think they look better if they're straight, so I'm gonna go ahead and make mine straight. But I'm gonna push down really good. Make another one right there. Another one right there. Another one right there, and maybe one more right here, and one last one right there. All right, so now I have my sun rays. Now I want you to know this. How much sun rays do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do I have them super close together? No, they have a lot of room and they're spread out, all right? So don't make them too squished. So let me go over and make the ones that are a little bit lighter, darker. Excellent job. So now we're gonna go ahead and start with our painting. So I'm gonna get my paintbrush. So now, before I actually start that, let's talk again really fast about our warm and cool colors. So let's look at our palette. Which one is a cool color? Let's name all of our cool colors, starting with black. Black, brown, blue, green. I'm sorry, black, brown, purple, blue, green. All right, which one are our warm colors? Yellow, orange, and red. Now for my project, because I already have black, do you think I'm gonna wanna use black in my painting? No, probably not. We're not gonna use black, and we're actually not gonna use brown for today. We're just gonna stick with the colors of the rainbow, which are, which ones? Purple, blue, green, and yellow, orange, and red. All right, and for our ocean waves, what color are the waves? They're blue. So we're gonna use our blue for our cool colors for our ocean. Now, are we just gonna use blue? No, we're gonna use all of our cool colors, which are purple and green. And that is only gonna be for our ocean. All right, so let's work on that part first. So I'm gonna make sure I get my paintbrush wet with water, not too much. Let me go ahead and start with purple. So I'm gonna get my purple right here. And let me do this for my bottom color. So, okay, what I've done is we have made an oil resist because we did it very dark with our oil pastel and we pushed down really hard. I can paint on top of it and it won't go into the next color as much. See how I can paint on top of it and you kind of see the little purple between the little lines? That's exactly what I want. So I'm gonna clean my brush. And now I'm gonna go in with, maybe my green. And I'll do my second color, green. I'm gonna go nice and slowly, take my time. If I get a little bit on the other side, that's okay. As long as I know I'm doing my personal best. I'm gonna go in with some more green because I want it to be a little bit darker if it can be. All right, now I'm gonna clean my brush for the second time, and I'm gonna go in with my blue. And I'm gonna really work this color in here, see if I can get it a little darker than the green. And I'm gonna make my third color blue, just like this. Again, I'm going slowly. I'm gonna make sure I am doing my personal best. I'm gonna take my time. All right, and there I have my waves with my what? Cool colors, great job. Ooh, look how pretty my cup is turning. It's turning into a purplish blue color. All right, now we're gonna work with our warm colors. What were our warm colors again? Red, orange, and yellow. Am I gonna use my green, blue, and purple? No, that's a big no-no. We're not gonna use the green, blue, and purple. We're gonna stick with the yellow, orange, and red. Now for my sun, I want it to be really bright, and I'm gonna use that for my yellow. So my sun is gonna be yellow. So I'm gonna really swirl this color. Make sure it gets a lot on my paintbrush, just like that. And I'm gonna paint this yellow. Oh no, my yellow kind of came out green, but that's all right. Okay, now that I have my yellow, I'm gonna make my sunbeams. And which colors? Warm colors, so it's gonna be orange and red. So I'm gonna take turns going back and forth with orange and red to make a pattern. So let me start with orange. And I'm gonna get my orange on here. Good job. And then I'm gonna skip one. And I'm gonna do orange again after I skip one. And then I'm gonna skip one more. And I'm gonna make this one orange. And then I'm gonna skip another one, just like we skip when we're counting in math. We skip count. And then let me make this last one a little bit darker. Perfect. All right, now my last color is what? Red. So let me go in with my red, swirl it around, and paint this one red. My red kind of came out looking pink, which is okay. It works. It's still, pink is still a warm color. I'm gonna skip that one and do this one red. Skip this one and paint this one red. All right, we're almost done. Let's move on to our last color right here. A little more red on there, and I'm gonna go nice and slowly so I try not to get it in my wave or in my sun. And I am done. I hope you guys like this project, beginners. This is your first one, your first option, which was the sunset with warm and cool colors. Now we're gonna do the sunset on land with the hills with warm and cool colors as well. All right, beginners, now this is your second option of our warm and cool color landscape with the sunset. Now again, the sunrise now. We are still gonna use the oil pastel. We are still gonna use watercolor. Make sure you have a cup of water. You should have your paintbrush. And now we are gonna move on with a clean paper, or if you decide to cut your paper in half like me, the second half of your paper. All right, so for this one, we are gonna go ahead and we are going to start with our hills. So let's go ahead and move our finger. Let's see, let's go a little less than half. So if this is half of a paper, we're gonna do a little bit less. So about right here. And we're actually gonna do a little tiny dot to mark it because we don't wanna go too high with our hills. All right, we might make a little bit higher in just a minute, but for now we're gonna work with this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with hills going all the way across, but we want them to kind of look different and be different sizes. Do I wanna go past my line? No, not right now. I don't wanna go past my line. So let's go ahead and make hills together. I'm gonna make this one like this. I'm gonna make this one maybe a little higher. I'm gonna do this one a little lower. All right, I'm making all sorts of different sizes of hills. Now I'm gonna keep doing that. I'm gonna go to my little dot and I'm gonna make that one right there. I'm gonna go in between and make this hill. And I'll probably go in between that and make another hill just like that. Now, just like our sunset picture, what do I wanna do? I wanna go back and push down really hard, but make sure my hand is not on the paper, because what will happen? That's right, it will smear, and I don't want anything to smear. So I'm gonna go back and push really super duper hard as I can, so I can make an oil resistance with my watercolor. Super duper hard. You can go back a couple of times if you need to. Good job. Pause the button if I'm going too fast for you. Take your time and go slowly. Perfect. So now we have all of our hills or our mountains. Now we are gonna make our sunrise. Remember how we did the sunset with ocean? The sunset is when the sun is going down and you're about to go to sleep. The sunrise is when you have been sleeping and you're waking up in the morning. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a circle. Remember we did half a circle? Now we're gonna do a full circle, and we're gonna make the circle just like this. Not too big and not too small. Oops, see, I smeared it a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm gonna keep making ring circles around this one circle right here. And I'm gonna keep making it as best as I can. I'll probably go off the page, but that's okay. Make another ring circle, another one, and just keep making them until you get off the page, just like this. Perfect. So now we have our sunrise and the mountains. It's kind of hard to see right now, but you'll see in just a minute. Now, just like I went over with my mountains, I want to go over again with my oil pastel as hard as I possibly can. Maybe do it a couple times if I really need to. Again, pause the button if you have to. Take your time. Don't go fast just because I'm going fast. I want you to do your ultimate best. Excellent job. We're almost done. Now the fun part, the watercolor. All right, so I'm gonna get my brush and I'm gonna start actually with my warm colors first. What were my warm colors? My orange, red, and yellow. And I'm gonna do my center sun, because it's sunrise, in yellow. So I'm gonna smear it really, really good to make sure I get a lot of color. And I'm gonna make it, my circle, yellow, just like that. Then I'm gonna clean off my brush and I'm gonna go back and forth with my orange and red, and if you'd like to go back and forth with your yellow as well, you can. So let me start with my orange, make sure I get a lot of color on there. Now you might have to go a little bit slower depending if your paintbrush is big or small. Mine's a little big for this one, but that's okay. I'm gonna take my time and make sure I do my ultimate best. Great job. So now I'm gonna skip that circle and I'm gonna do the next circle in what? Orange again. Perfect. Now I have to be really careful not to get on my mountains. Good job. I got some more orange on my paintbrush. I'm gonna skip one and do the next one. All right, and I'm gonna skip that one, do the next one. And I am done with my orange. Now I'm gonna move on to my red. So I'm gonna get a lot of color on my red. I'm gonna get on my paintbrush. Get some more red on there. Ooh, this one's a lot brighter, I think, than the sun. Get some more. And my last ring is also going to be red. Oop, I need to take my time. Go nice and slowly. Oh no, I got some in my orange, but that's okay. Good job. Now we are gonna move on to our mountains. Now for my mountains, I have what color? I have green, blue, and purple. So I'm gonna start with my green, and I'm gonna choose my biggest mountain to be green, because what color are mountains in real life? If they have grass, they're green. So I'm gonna choose my biggest one, which is this one, and I'm gonna paint this one green all over. All right, let me see if I can get some more color on there, make it a little bit darker. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and get some, make sure my green is off, get some purple. Let me do the one right next to it in purple, just like that. Wow, our purple is very vibrant. It's very bright. And then I'm gonna do another one purple, probably right here. This looks like a little gumdrop, more than a mountain, doesn't it? And I'm gonna do one more purple right here. Make sure you take your time and go extra slow. Wow, I love how bright that purple is. All right, I'm gonna clean off my brush, and now I'm gonna go in with my blue. So I'm gonna get my blue really, really wet if I can. And I'm going to go ahead and paint this mountain blue. Now you don't have to paint all the mountains exactly like mine, because you probably will have more or less mountains depending if you use a full sheet of paper or not. So you get to just pick and choose. I'm kind of trying to make sure they're not touching. See how my purples aren't touching? All right, now I'm gonna go in with one more blue. Actually right here, just like that. And for my last one, I'm gonna do green again. So I'm gonna make sure I get as much green as I can right here and put green right here on my mountain. Now remember, I made sure I had all my warm colors on top and all my cool colors on the bottom, and I made sure I didn't mix them. All right, so I hope you like this second project. It's completely up to you which one you'd like to do, whether you pick one or pick both. Here they both are again. All right, go ahead and pick one and have fun.